The full moon lunar eclipse happens at 23 degrees in Virgo with the south node, which is at 27 degrees on March 13th, 14th, depending on where you are in the world. It's all about a karmic release, a culmination, a partial revealing, as the eclipse obscures part of what's revealed. Issues around our health, routines, work, small business, people you hire, rental income, pets, organization, decluttering, communication, and to-do lists, just to name a few. A destiny can be fulfilled in your Virgo part of the sky, maybe an achievement of some kind within your community as well. And this eclipse does have a positive aspect. It has Uranus and Taurus trining this eclipse and Mars and Cancer making a sextile to it. And although Saturn is opposing the lunar eclipse from Pisces, we do have Mars and Cancer trining Saturn and the Sun here. This could look like some ease of change and easy letting go of a karmic story to allow for a new beginning in the Virgo part of your chart, but one that you are the initiator of with Mars here. It can be an emotional new beginning as well, as emotions are always involved because it is a lunar eclipse. The moon rules Cancer and we have Mars in Cancer, but in good flow to this full moon, there can be a deep feeling or sense of growth and change as well, as we also have Pluto sextiling the North Node in Pisces and trining the South Node at this eclipse. You can feel eerily in sync with life's destiny in the Pisces part of your sky at this time. Virgo, for you, the solar eclipse is happening. The lunar eclipse. We'll get to the solar eclipse in just a minute. The lunar eclipse is happening in your first house of self, the body or vehicle that you travel this world in, the way that you look or present to others, and is the most important of all the angles and affects the other ones. This affects Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising most from 20 degrees and up. You could be releasing an old image of yourself or the way that you present out in the world. You could become engaged, especially since this is a first house axis and the other end is your seventh house, where you currently have the North Node of Fate sitting, bringing in a fated love or a fated business partnership, starting any time from now and unfolding over the next year and a half or so. Neptune rules your seventh house and is sitting on the edge of your seventh house, eighth house of deep intimacy. It's being sextiled by Pluto in your sixth house. There could be a transformation around your money or what you share with another. If you have been in a long-term relationship, maybe this eclipse will show a marriage partnership with this activity going on in your seventh and eighth houses, which is active at this time and showing a merging of resources, shared money, and assets. One other quick thing, sometimes when we have a South Node transiting over our first house or through our first house, it can oftentimes be a time when a woman falls pregnant. So there's that, which would explain kind of that loss of energy that you may be feeling within your first house. So I just figured I'd throw that out there too with all this kind of serious energy going on here. You could be redefining what you do for work and career, as Jupiter is currently in your 10th house of titles, career, father figures, political positions, government jobs, legacy, and fame. If you are getting married, that would show up here as well in the 10th house, showing a status title change. And because Jupiter also rules your 7th house as well. You could be starting your own business and maybe with a partner or a romantic partner, with Pluto newly entering the 6th house, a house you naturally rule. Maybe it's to provide services or a product for people in need, or something that you can build a profit from but also serve humanity as well, like developing an ethical resource or a type of food which can be accessed for all and not just the elite in society. The ruler of this eclipse is Mercury, your ruling planet, and it's sitting in your 8th house, conjunct Venus. Venus rules your 2nd house and your 9th. So there could be gains if you're married from a spouse, or alternatively, if you are letting a relationship go, this could be good financial news for you in the separation or dividing of the assets, especially because I see Uranus up in Taurus in the 9th house, making a trine to this lunar eclipse happening in your sign. If you are letting something go, this is something you've likely been ready to release, and it can almost happen with ease at this time. Uranus in the house of legal settlements and contracts, but trining you. If you're not separating, you and your significant other could be spending time alone or in seclusion with personal planets like Venus and Mercury in the 8th house, talking about serious topics, but resolving them in a loving manner or healing through deep intimacy at this time, because Venus, she's in Pluto's house after all, and if you understand what the 8th house is, It's a sex, death, and rebirth house there, in deep transformation, but also deep intimate bonding. You could be trying new forms of intimacy here as well. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Mars in Cancer in the 11th house of networking, friend groups, windfalls, wish fulfillment, humanitarian groups, and the internet is making a sextile over to your sun, moon, or ascendant, but is also trining Saturn in the sun in your 7th house of partnership. And Mars is also making a sextile to Uranus in the 9th house. Mars is playing very nicely at the time of this lunar eclipse. So what this could look like is an opportunity for you and a partner in business or love to travel suddenly. Maybe there's a lucky opportunity that comes up. Maybe there's, if you've been struggling to have children, maybe there's a chance to adopt a child. Adopting children falls in the 11th house, and it can be a dream come true. And it also may involve international travel. That would make sense as well. You and a partner could be building a business. Maybe it's an internet business or one that helps women and children, or you're gaining or making financial gains through networks, partnerships, or associations with Mars, who rules your 8th house of shared resources and money we don't earn. Excuse me, Virgo, I'm sorry. But gain from others and is sitting over in the 11th. Whatever is unfolding for you during this eclipse, I think will be quite positive, especially if you're a Virgo rising around 20 degrees and up, as there is a lot of positive energy in the 8th Aries house and your 7th house of Pisces. The March 29th partial solar eclipse is at 9 degrees and is just beautiful with no harsh aspects, and is happening in your 8th house of transformation, sex, death, rebirth, shared resources, investments, loans, taxes, inheritance, secrets, detective work, mysteries, tarot, the occult, and magic are all contained within this house, just to name a few. This is wrapping up the Libra Aries eclipse cycle that began with the nodes of fate shifting into this area July 2023. You'll feel this most if you're a sun, moon, or rising Virgo from 5 to 14 degrees or so. This could be a new beginning happening now and unfolding over the next 6 months in those above mentioned areas. This would make sense if you took a partnership in love or business to the next level, or got married, or you will get married over the next 6 months. Because we move from the 7th house of serious commitments to the 8th, where we then share our resources, where the solar eclipse is happening. You and a partner could have new beginnings around intimacy, positive ones at that. There is definitely a highlighting of intimacy because Venus has been retrograding through this 8th and 7th house, and will continue to spend time between the two until she moves on to Taurus, not until June 7th. So that's a long time to maybe see developments around money, taxes, resources, tax rebates, which you can come into at this time with Venus over here. Maybe good news about your taxes, your partnerships. You could be diving into spiritual matters or doing research for a book or a communication project, having discussions in a positive way around issues if there have been any in a relationship. Again, I can see some kind of financial gain or windfall happening through social networks or humanitarian work, or work that involves women and children somehow, home, cooking, etc. Because the ruler of this eclipse is Mars, and Mars is in Cancer in your 11th house of 11th house is Cancer, ruling wider networks and windfalls. The 8th house is a financial house as well. Last but not least, Pluto is sextiling Venus at this eclipse from your 6th house of health, work, diet, pets, day-to-day routines, exercise, people that you hire, your business, rental income and property, just to name a few. Also, it rules our enemies as well. But this is a house that you're very familiar with. It's a house that you naturally rule, Virgo. Venus is sitting at 28 degrees of Pisces, at that kind of anaretic degree there at the end of your 7th house and right at the edge of the beginning of your deep and intimate 8th. Maybe this is a deep and mysterious workplace romance, or meeting a dark, mysterious type through the work that you do somehow with Pluto involved. Here, it could start out in a secretive way because Pluto is the lord of the underworld and all things hidden. But if you're partnered and not looking, this could be a health breakthrough or a powerful new work contract that can bring in significant gains as well. Pluto rules Scorpio, your 3rd house, so maybe this is a writing or communication podcast, writing about psychology, a murder mystery, a detective novel, just, a couple examples I'm throwing out there. If nothing shows up at this time, remember that the energy of an eclipse can take up to 6 months to unfold or even show up sooner. Several weeks prior to the eclipse happening, it might have started showing up in February. All in all, it's very positive, and it's a great way to close out the month and head into spring Virgo. Take care, and we'll see you in April.